So I'll just reiterate for those folks on Zoom, because I think maybe you didn't hear me. We just did introductions in the room. I'll call on you each individually, those folks that are online for introductions, and then we'll do questions the same way today. We'll go around the room for questions, and then I'll call on folks on the phone. So let's kind of quickly have Downtown Boise Association introduce yourself, and then we'll go to folks on the line.
Sorry, I'm Heather with the Downtown Boise Association.
All right, ACHD, John.
John Wasson, Ada County Highway District. And Debbie White. Say hi, Debbie.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Shane.
Shane Anderson, Boise City Parking.
Conrad.
Conrad McDaniel, Republic Services.
Do we have Leslie today?
Yeah, Leslie Pedrosa, Operations Director, Valley Regional Transit.
Fantastic. Sydney.
Sydney Murphy, City Risk Management.
Great. Summer.
Summer, you're muted.
Summer Altieri, Boise Parks and Rec. Can you hear me?
We sure can, Summer.
All right, Summer Altieri, Boise Parks and Rec.
And fantastic. Linda, Ada County EMS.
Linda Scopelliti, Ada County Paramedics.
Terrific. Thanks, everyone. So we will start this meeting the way we start every meeting, which is to say that we've had a great season so far of special events. We've tried to be very, very mindful of the pandemic during our time. We've had to make several different pivots from when we started this spring, early summer, when numbers were looking good, but we've made it clear to all of our applicants that despite what happens in this particular meeting and during our sign-off process, the virus is really dictating how we're engaging with each of these events. So we've had some events that have done an absolutely fantastic job in pre-planning, taking into account public health and safety, and we appreciate that very, very greatly, and expect events to follow suit in thinking about above and beyond anything else in this special event season, above and beyond the profitability of an event, what an event typically has been or would like to be, the way in which events operate. The first thing every event should be thinking about right now is public health and safety. So just appreciating that, and then also appreciating that event organizers understand that we may have to adjust as the numbers adjust, as the virus adjusts. So numbers are looking steady right now, but I think Natasha would be able to tell us that we are very, very far from out of the woods on this and need to be really mindful and really careful going forward. So just a reminder, that means even ahead of the conversations that we have, that currently the city of Boise is requiring proof of vaccination or negative test status for big events and masking for major events, just to make sure that we're continuing to protect the health and safety of our community. So with that, I'd like to invite our applicants up for the 2021 Idaho Potato Drop. They're not here yet. Okay. Well, we will give them another 5 minutes. The team does, just as we anticipate and expect that paperwork will be filed promptly. We do also expect that folks are on time for meetings. So we'll give them 5 more minutes. In the meantime, maybe we can go down pending approvals. We have 2 pending approvals in front of us. The Boise Brewing Hoptober Festival and 10 Barrel Pray for Snow. Let's just maybe quickly go around the room and see what folks are waiting for on sign off with that. Natasha, do you want to start?
So still waiting on paperwork from Hoptober Festival.
Natasha, can I ask you to just use the mic a little bit better, please?
So we are still waiting to hear from Boise Brewing and 10 barrel Pray for Snow is good to go. They've submitted what needed to be in.
Great.
Yeah, I should be fine to sign off for the Pray for Snow event. So I have everything I need.
Heather.
So DBA is good with the Hoptober Festival. And I was in touch with Jordan yesterday from 10 Barrel Pray for Snow, and that's just what I was looking for. I believe I have everything I need from them. So DBA should be good to go.
It's Jesse with Boise Fire. Pray for Snow is good to go. However, we have not received a tent permit for the October Festival.
Oh, there you go. For the Pray for Snow, we just need to review it. We should be able to sign off on that shortly.
You guys made it just in the nick of time. I was going to give you 3 more minutes. We're finishing some business. We're finishing some business that we did in the interim. So if you'll give us just another 5 minutes, but feel free to have a seat right there because we'll be right with you.
Thank you, Maria. Rachel Holford City of Boise Emergency Management. We're good to go on the Hoptober Festival. And then the only thing we're waiting for on the Pray for Snow is just to see the final footprint, because I know we had discussed moving some items in there, the traffic control plan, and then what resources are going to be on site.
ACHD?
ACHD has already signed off on the Hoptober Festival, and we've sent out notification for the other one, and we should be able to approve it here in the next week.
Thank you. Shane?
Shane, you're on mute.
Sorry about that. No, I'm good with both the events.
Thank you. Conrad?
Yeah, sorry. I am good with both events as well.
Leslie?
We are good with both of them as well.
Terrific. Sydney?
We're also good, and I've signed off on both.
Great. Summer, I don't know that either of these apply to you.
Nope, we're fine.
Great. And Linda?
I believe Ada County has signed off on both of those events. EMS is good. Thank you.
Great. Clerk?
Thank you, Maria. I just want to double check with DBA and parking for the Hoptober Festival this weekend. Did the shuttle for the game get relocated? Is there usually a shuttle there? Okay.
Yeah, I've moved it to the east side, the southeast side of the intersection at 6th and Broad, right there by Faces.
Okay.
So
perfect.
It should be okay.
Excellent. And then Jesse, has Boise Brewing been in touch at all for the tent permit?
No, they have not. I'll give them a call today and get it squared away.
Okay, I can send them a quick email. And Natasha, can you clarify, is it your notification of event form that you're needing for Boise Brewing? Okay. I did get a vendor list last week that we forwarded on, but I didn't know if they needed to do your form to match up with it. Okay, I'll clarify that with them.
If I could just reiterate, Maria, I would ask that everybody use the mics, because anybody who's online, if we're not using the microphones and we're not bringing them up close to us, there is absolutely no audio that is presented to the rest of the team that's online. So if we could do that and be diligent, I would really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, Jamie. And just a reminder for folks who aren't in council chambers a lot, you actually have to be fairly close to the mic. And if you turn your head away from it, turns out the mic doesn't work as well. So just be mindful of that as we're going, particularly with masks. So we want to make sure that folks are hearing us. So, all right. The 2021 Idaho Potato Drop. And since You all didn't hear my intro. I will just reiterate that a little bit. A couple of things about the special events process this year that has been different. As you all know, last year, the pandemic forced us to close down special event season. We've been really happy this year to be able to work with event organizers, continue to provide events in the community. But to do that, we've had to be extraordinarily mindful and work in cooperation with our event organizers to make sure that the number one priority for all events is the health and safety of the community. So that means many events have had to change details about their events, specific things that they've done in the past, they maybe have not been able to do or have had to adjust. And we've had some really successful events this year that have taken that into account and made changes. So we are expecting that events are taking health and safety into consideration, and that is their primary focus for their events. We are also working with events to make sure that all of the T's are being crossed and I's are being dotted well in advance of the event, and in many cases have added in additional steps just to make sure we are seeing events grow. We are seeing things become more complicated. Service is being impacted from a traffic control, from public safety. So you may see things to be just a little bit different this year and may see us ask for a few different things. There was an event recently that we unfortunately were not able to permit. They had to cancel their event. And that had everything to do with the fact that they had not taken care of all the details and gotten everything done in the way that we had asked them to. So it's unfortunate that we weren't able to issue that permit, but it is something that we will do if we feel like we haven't gotten the information that we need. So just with that kind of preface and with understanding that we're talking about an event that is a couple months from now, we don't know what the pandemic will look like. So appreciate all of your pre-planning around how to make a safe event that is COVID appropriate. Also understand that if we see a substantial spike, we may have to come back to you with different considerations about what we need the event to do to be able to be permitted. So with that, we'll let you launch into your presentation and welcome you to the Special Events Committee.
Sandy, I don't think your microphone is on. There's a little button in the front.
Oh, there we go.
Thank you.
COVID has obviously made it a little more challenging, but safety is always on the forefront of our mind for this event. So then we did kind of with that in mind too. Let me just gonna walk myself through this. We did provide to John the original, like the normal street closures that we would do in a typical year. Mainly because it's easier to scale those street closures down than to ask for more, we felt. So that is what we submitted. I did give Kelly, but it was just last night, kind of a pared down flat map that we also are working with. So these are just kind of two options if we hold it in Boise this year, if we don't move it again. Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Sorry about that. Getting ahead of myself. Yeah. Oh, perfect. Okay. So then I think this might be the original. This day would be the same anyway. So it would start mainly just our urban air, and that really depends on weather. Those guys sometimes need a little bit early access to the park. So it's mainly just that on the Tuesday, the 28th, which is why we would just close the Y and just so that they could get snow in and out of there. Typically, this is how many days it's taken them in the past to build it. So that would be really the only activity on that day. Let's see here. Sorry. Can I move it up and down? Oh, there we go. Okay, well, and then the next day. Yeah, well, December 29th would be the same thing. That Wednesday, there would not be additional street closures. And again, it's just building that rail jam or the urban air rather. On Thursday with the original plan, is typically when we would close off Bannock Street. Thanks, Dylan. And that is mainly because of the tents. Now with the, I'm probably getting ahead of myself, so I'll just stay with this one and then move to the option B. But so that's why Bannock would be closed with access, obviously. Key Bank, we work with them so that they have access to their parking garage. Typically, we should close down the 6 side first in the morning, do that tent first, and then close the Bannock side later in the day around 4 p.m. So that way we have lower impact on the 8th Street side with everyone's parking there. And then on the day of, kind of similar thing, we made sure that with the family tent that it only took up access on half of the street. So we were able to get a fire truck through there. You can see with the pink line there. So this would be the day of. Street closures are really the same. We just add the Idaho street closure or the Idaho and Capitol street closure there later in the day. Food vendors would be lined up just right there on Capitol. And then other than the tenting in the street, nothing on Jefferson other than fireworks. And then let's see here. For the alternative, and then just so you guys know, oh, sorry, on Jefferson fireworks and the rollover, trash, recycle and trash cans.
I'm gonna give it the next one.
I don't know if it's loaded in there. Is the next one in there, Kelly? The alternative plan? No, this is different than that.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, maybe I should have plugged my Prezi in.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah. Yep. So with this one, again, you can see it's similar with the street closures Tuesday, Wednesday, nothing would change. On Thursday, there would be no additional as well. It would just be the Y. With this plan, basically, we'd be moving everything. Can you go all the way to Friday? Yeah, right there, babe. Okay. We'd be moving everything into the park. So instead of the tents being in the street, they're in the park. This just moves any infrastructure out of the street, would remove any need to close down Bannock or Capitol. And it would just require closing Jefferson at 3 p.m. the day of to be able to stage fireworks. So that one just kind of is lower impact on street closures, parking meters, and it just kind of moves a lot of the infrastructure just all the way into Cecil D. Andrews Park. With that one, the biggest, well, I'll kind of go over why I've done that, and I'm sure you guys know. So with Parks and Rec, both Plan A and B would be the same days of rental. So it'd be the December 28th through the 1st. It's okay. So that way we could, like I said, start the urban air on the 28th. We'd probably fence in the park the 29th. Tents and staging always happens on the 30th. And then restrooms and vendors typically the 31st. With liquor and beer, we are most likely going to be working with our partner that we worked with last time, the Pocket. We've been talking with Fireworks America for fireworks. Barricade and all sanitation stations and everything we're getting through United Site Services. Absolute Security is our private security. With liquor, that would vary too. So if we did beer and liquor for moving everything into the park, the alternative plan, we would start later. So if we did the normal plan, it's usually 3 to 1:30. With the alternative plan, we wouldn't start until 7 and it would go until 1:30. The Absolute Security has scheduled overnights from December 29th on. Then they have 10 private security that starts when the event starts. And by the time, 10 o'clock rolls around, they usually have at least 26 bodies roaming. That's what we've always done in years past. And then they have an on-site stationed RV and a few more personnel in there monitoring. And then usually with United Site Services, not to jump around, but what we've done in years past is just the 20 standard restrooms, 3 ADA, and then we have the mobile double restroom for our VIP area, and of course sanitation stations. And then I have reached out to Republic Service for trash. Downtown Boise Association. I am obviously waiting on that. I got my sign-offs like way too early in 2019. So I think we'll wait until, just because things could move around a lot. And the traffic control plan would change too, depending on what we're deciding here. And then Central District Health, we have not signed up vendors yet. We're a little apprehensive with, who we want to sign up, food and all of that. So we've definitely got our people that want to be involved. We're just kind of so that would be something that we would absolutely have to, though, by December 1st, like that list would be in its entirety with all of their licensing and all of that good stuff. Insurance Services of Idaho has already been contacted. Brian, as per the usual, cannot give me a binder until December 1st, just because things can change, I guess. So that's when they can actually give me the packet. But we've been talking to him and Wes from Acute Paramedics. And then with regards to COVID, being an open event, I know that there's been other ones too that have been held down there during this. There's kind of two, with Plan A, our normal event, we do have street closures, which gives the ability to be able to have security at the entrances, requiring masks, providing masks for the open areas. Obviously, with our VIP and our tented areas, we have a lot more control. Those are paid areas where we can provide, make sure that we get a negative test or a proof of vaccine, because that is a check-in point. With street closures, that's a little harder, as you guys know, because I can't technically close off a sidewalk. I can't not permit somebody into the footprint, or at least that's what I was.
Among other
Yeah.
reasons that we can't
Yeah.
keep people off of certain areas
And then with option B, really that would put everything in the park where there is an entrance and an exit. And that would provide us the ability to actually check everyone, screen everyone at the entrance and exits of the park. And then we wouldn't have to really do that at VIP, because we'd be doing it at the entrance and exits of the park, because the VIP would be located inside of the park. So that was kind of our thought process there in terms of that plan. So I will turn it over to you guys. And you can ask me whatever.
Great. I think we can go around and ask questions. I would just say for the group and ask the questions that you need, I think, on both alternatives. But it seems to me like at this moment in time for your planning and to think about public health and safety, you're probably going to want to adjust to the alternate plan rather than the first plan. The first plan seems to have a substantial impact on downtown. So I'm interested to hear from DBA how the post office and some of those businesses along Bannock feel about having those kinds of road closures for that length of time. And you're right. I mean, if we go with the initial plan, I'm not sure that there's really any way for you to be able to take COVID into consideration, because we really are requiring proof of negative testing or vaccination to be able to do that.
How did they do it with Pride? Because we had people down there and it's the same closures. Boise Pride.
Pride did a great job, and we'd be happy to put you into touch with that event organizer.
Yeah, that'd be great, because I didn't see any masks or anything in the picture. So we were just curious as to, and I talked to the security that ran that. And so I was curious about that. I'd love to talk with them. That'd be great.
Well, let's go ahead and talk about your events.
Yeah, no,
specifically.
totally.
Let's go around and have
I just would
conversations
love-
about this, but that's what we've done with every event organizer. We've talked about them on the front end, the things that they can control.
I got a question for you. So have you experienced this event before?
So I can't hear you because you're not using a mic.
As obviously you're new here, have you seen this event happen before?
We have seen this event happen before, yes.
Okay, so we've worked with downtown Boise businesses in the past, and there's not been any issues with impact whatsoever. With the event.
Yeah. So we'll just turn it over to you guys.
Yeah, why don't we go around the room and ask questions? Yeah. I think we've seen some after action reports and the folks around the room that have responsibilities for these different pieces and responsibilities for signing off on an event for it to be permitted. I think I'll have some questions and suggestions and recommendations.
Perfect.
So let's go ahead and start with Central District Health.
Good morning, Sandy. Good morning, Dylan.
Hi, good morning.
So I would just recommend you guys go ahead and submit your notification of event to us, even though your vendor list isn't finalized yet. That way we have you on the calendar. Okay. And, kind of getting ourselves ready to take care of your event when time comes. When you finalize your vendor list, send it to us. Also, let your food vendors know to submit their applications to us as early as possible. 30 days prior to the event is ideal.
Okay.
Also, we would have to discuss with you how many portable toilets you will.
I can't hear you very well. I'm sorry.
We would have to discuss in the future a number of portable toilets at your event. And I would also recommend that you increase a number of hand wash stations.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Just we're in the pandemic, and that's just a good thing to have. Okay.
Yeah.
And just please reach out to me sometime in the next few weeks.
Okay.
We're going to chat about that.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Morning, Sandy. Morning,
Morning.
Dylan. Yeah, so I did get your email. Thank you. We can definitely supply those trash boxes and the bins, like no problem. I did. So you don't know any vendors right now, right? Correct.
Nope.
Do you know for your drink, for like your beer, does that vendor usually provide, like, is it cups? Is it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. We've always wanted to do the commemorative cups. It just with sanitary, we've always just ended up doing plastic cups, which we've wanted to get away with or away from. But yeah, that is usually what we end up using.
We're a small operation. We don't have a big, huge corporate team of investors and too many cooks in the kitchen. Just got a few of us working on the ground. So
that's typically, so yeah.
No, I definitely, I appreciate that. I know it's a bigger effort. I would just say, we are definitely starting to try to get events away from, especially like a single-use plastic cup.
Okay.
So again, more reusable minded, effort. whether
We've
it's
always
cans.
wanted to do that.
It would help if we had some financial backing from, different organizations, but we just don't.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, again, I definitely appreciate that. And just keep that in mind that I know at this position, like we will be trying to, and helping too. It's not like I'm just telling you, you got to do this and then like, that's it. We'll definitely be like working and stuff. But yeah, so there's that. And then, I do have some new signs that basically, like if I can send to you in like a PDF format.
Okay.
And then can you print those and then put them on at least the recycling containers when I give them to you? Yeah, it's just to help folks know what goes in there.
Totally.
And
Absolutely.
what shouldn't. Sure. But other than like that, we'll just be in touch as far as I would like to know the vendors, just kind of who's going to be there. But then we're pretty good to go. So thank you.
Awesome.
Heather. All right. Well, I really appreciate the alternate plan personally. I think anytime we can lessen the road closures to downtown, the better off everybody's going to be and the less we're all going to hear about that. Those businesses along Bannock, I hear from every time, just about every time there's a special event. There are a few in particular who I get to chat with.
Well, I can call my Uncle Ron and tell him to call Key Bank and settle down. He owns that building. So,
right. And the residents are a key consideration in that. So let's chat about that alternative plan. If that is, if that's a viable option, that would be the one I obviously prefer that you go with. And then we can talk about notifications for the businesses around there and how to manage that this way.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hi, it's Jesse with Boise Fire.
Hi, Jesse.
We're going to require the same permits that you had in the past, of course, the fireworks display permit and then a tent permit. The layout that you have, the VIP tent there just east of Capitol, is this the same layout that you guys have had in the past?
Yeah.
As far as the same size tents and everything?
Yep.
How big is that VIP tent?
40 by 80,
Yeah,
40 by 100.
It depends on ticket sales because we can add on 20 feet.
Okay.
But it's always 40.
Okay.
And then we add So it starts by 40 by 80, and then we've had it as big as 40 by 120.
Okay, all right. Yeah, so this plan I'm looking at, it's doable. Our goal is to try to keep the roads for emergency access as clear as possible. I like your emergency route here with the pink on your map. I would just ask that you be really cognizant of the placement of that tent. There's a 6-story building right there on the northeast or on the northwest corner of that building. There's a fire department connection, that try to keep that as clear as possible so we don't have any obstructions as we pull up to it.
I had my fingers like this. You guys made it through. So,
So try to keep that as clear as possible. And then the stage, how big is the stage?
oh, man, I'd have to look.
It's essentially it's a box truck.
Okay, it's a box truck. Okay,
Yeah.
no worries then. Your food trucks, how many food trucks are you going to have?
You know, we always cap that around 7 to 10
7 to 10.
total,
Okay.
mainly for space and just trash and all of that.
Okay, I'm gonna send you a document today, and it's we've got new requirements for food trucks this year where they have to get a fire inspection. It's a separate inspection from Central District Health and all those other agencies. It's from us.
Okay.
And they have to have an inspection and a sticker that verifies that inspection. Otherwise, when we come and do the inspection for the event, we will shut them down. And we've done that. So, so please communicate with them. Make a really good effort to do that. I don't like shutting people down. So
Once they have the sticker though, they're good to go.
yeah, once they have the sticker, they're good to go.
Outside.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yep. And we can set up an appointment for all those inspections. I think other than that, just make sure you get the proper permits. I think we'll be okay with the layout here.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Dwight here, Boise Police. I wanted to ask what your estimated attendance was going to be.
There's no way for us to know.
I know. I wish.
I know, actually, I can tell you 250, for sure.
Okay. All right. We'll get you the MPA for police staffing.
Okay.
I'll follow up after with an email.
250 is what we're expecting.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
250 is what we are expecting.
How many have you had? How many have you had in the past?
250 is about what we max out at in VIP.
So we don't have a body count
We don't
for
sell tickets.
for the event. I mean, it would be impossible for us to tell you the attendance because it's an open gate event.
It's not even an open
So-
gate event. It's just we're holding it on the Capitol Mall grounds. So there's really no way. We can't even rent the ground.
And we
we're
haven't
operating on.
held this event, obviously, after, during so we did this in Nampa last year. So I mean, to give you.
Because it's such a pain in the butt to do it here.
Yeah, well, and with COVID, it's impossible to give that number. I wish we could, but I can't. We can just tell you what we sell in VIP, and he's right. It's 250 people. So that's what we are expecting.
That's it.
So Dylan, I mean, you know that the attendance is not 250 people and you guys do a lot of marketing. Is there any way you can give us kind of an estimate? I get 250 in the tent.
I would not feel comfortable guessing. No.
So you don't have any thoughts as to 4,000, 10,000?
Sure.
I mean, we don't know because, I mean, again, we
I've
haven't
never
done this, especially, I mean, I don't know how many people are going to come, you guys. To give you that number would be me guessing. It would be the same as you could guess too.
Comfortable.
Sure. And I guess the reason I'm asking is we're trying to plan, and especially for police, the challenge is if we don't know how many people, we're probably going to have to staff heavy and nobody knows how many people are coming. So we do ask, and you guys know, we do ask for just an estimate. And so we're not holding anybody to that. I was just asking that question so we could kind of get a general idea.
So in years past with BPD, I know that it was 10 officers by the peak point, not earlier in the day because it's not needed.
Yeah, that's what I
and they
saw.
felt completely comfortable. I always talk to police because I always want to know if my numbers are right and if your guys' numbers are right. And that's what's been staffed in years past. And that was before, I could only see numbers going down, not up this year, to be honest. So I would think that would be a comfortable number again, if that helps.
Yep. Thank
Okay.
you. I'll follow up with the email.
Okay.
Hi, Sandy and Dylan. It's nice to see you guys again.
You too.
So what we're going to do, just like we've always done in the past, is we'll have those safety and security meetings where we can go through all of these plans and really work through them. You do know that we keep very good notes. We have after action reviews, which we met with you after the previous event on the items that need to be fixed. So we're not going to go through that, oh, I don't remember that, because it was all discussed. It was all put in pictures and everything else from the footprint. So we do have some concerns that we need to work through, and they need to be done in a timely manner. So we're not having to do them at the last minute.
Okay.
Those concerns do include making sure the businesses are aware. We did get complaints from Key Bank. We did get complaints from the post office.
Oh, from
I
the post
know-
office, really? Okay.
Yes.
I
and-
definitely talked to them as well.
I think we
Well-
need to move this event, honestly. You know what? I think we're good here. I think we're gonna move it out to Nampa. I think that's what we're gonna do. It's obvious that nobody appreciates what we do here. We've been working our asses off for a decade, and all we get is kicked in the face. We have, at personal financial risk, we have laid ourselves out for the community and done so much for this town, and nobody gives a shit. Nobody cares. Nobody appreciates it, and I'm sick of it. Never.
We're a
thank
little
you, only
emotional.
This is what you did wrong. Never. Good job. You brought the community together and made us world famous again, over and over and over, 10
It's okay.
times.
It's all right. Sorry,
This
we're
month.
just a little emotional because it's a big event to plan. And it does feel like that a lot. I know from your guys' standpoint, it's safety and you're doing your job and we appreciate that. It's good to walk through. It is hard sometimes to sit on this side and to earn the money for it and to try to do all the planning and to feel like you're kind of doing something wrong. And that is how we felt since 2012. So it's hard to feel that way. With Key Bank, that is interesting. I will be calling my Uncle Ron when I leave. The post office, I gave them so much. I actually, Carly yelled at me for going too early and talking to people. And most of those businesses tell me I'm the only one who does it, who actually gets a sign off, which is weird because I know you guys require that. So I don't know why I get that feedback, but I mean, we definitely did talk with them. I know other events do close down these streets. Twilight Criterion, Pride, everything, Goat Head Festival, it's all over here now and they're all doing the same street closure. So maybe I just need to speak with them and figure out what they're doing better than I am and try to kind of get a better plan there in terms of how they're not upsetting the businesses that they're closing streets in front of. So.
Sandy, thank you. I think we appreciate how difficult it is and how much goes into planning these different events. And we particularly appreciate the events that have such a strong sense of community and want to do events that are great for the community. It sounds like there's a lot of emotion going on. So rather than making a rash decision about the event, I'd encourage you, maybe to think about the alternative plan and the main plan and which works better for you, maybe sleep on it. I think as Rachel said, we, would welcome a safety and security meeting to really go through it, make sure things are going well. We do, as the community is getting bigger, we're seeing more pressure put on these events, more pressure put on our resources. And I think that's why we're particularly asking questions, a lot more questions, looking at after action reports and reviewing them, and just wanting to make sure that we continue each year to improve our ability to provide a safe and secure events for the community. So I know it can feel a little bit like a changing goalpost. It feels a little bit like that to us too. And it really just has to do with like this dynamic situation we're in right now. Traffic control companies are being impacted. Private security companies are being impacted. BPDs being impacted, the businesses. So we're just trying to navigate it the best that we can. So I'd really, just encourage maybe like, take it, you got a couple months, like take a beat and think about if it makes sense for the event to be in Nampa. Like we totally understand that. And it makes sense for the event to be in Nampa. If you'd like to have the event in Boise in front of the Capitol, as you've done in years in the past, we're happy to work with you on that. Just know that everybody around the table is interested in having really good events for the community and really safe events for the community. And that's why we're dialing in on these different issues. It's not to be punitive in any way.
Yeah, well, thank you. I appreciate it. I think I got everyone's notes, and we've been doing this for a decade now. So I do know all my lashings are usually about the same. And yeah, we want to do what's best for the community too, and the event, and we want it to be able to be successful and make money. That's part of the problem with, holding it in Boise is hard. It's hard to pencil and do this event. It's very easy to do on private property. There's just not the amount of cha-ching on the other end. And then last year there was we just didn't feel like we did anything wrong at the end of it. And then this event always kind of makes me feel pretty raw the next day, and it should be happy and fun. And what we get from the news, I talked to Fox News, they said this is the only event that they are always told to get. And it's a bummer, but we'll do its best for the drop, and we appreciate your guys' time and all of your notes. And it really is important to go through this stuff because, it is a good checkoff list. It's a good walkthrough. So we do appreciate that for sure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, so I think moving on throughout the rest of the agenda, we got through our pending approvals. Just want to remind everyone about after action reports. We have several of them that are due at the end of October. We are likely, just kind of a quick calendar review. I think we don't have any events on the schedule for our next meeting, which is 2 weeks from now. So unless something comes up in particular, we'll probably go ahead and cancel that meeting. And then likely 2 weeks past that, we may have some after action reviews to go through. Just kind of give everybody a heads up about what we're looking at. Also, just wanted to open up a conversation a little bit. Our office here is looking at making some adjustments to the special events platform software. So I'll maybe turn it over to Jamie and Kelly to talk about that just a little bit more and get some maybe high level feedback from this group today. And if you want to think about it just a little bit, think about the questions that they have and maybe get your thoughts to Kelly afterwards, we can do that too. But let me just kind of turn it over to these folks to talk about software.
Thanks, Maria. As most of you know, the software that we do have, we've kind of pieced 2 or 3 different programs together to make it somewhat work. And now we do have a different licensing software that has been in place for the clerk's office for a couple of years now. And it's in the stage where it can be customized for special events. So we are trying to streamline some of the issues that we have had and make it better. But we also just are interested in feedback from everybody on maybe what does and doesn't work or suggestions that would be better. So we don't make the software the same as what we've been doing if it's not efficient. So I do understand what we have now is not the best, but in hindsight, with the goals that we have to get the information out to everybody in a timely manner, to have one place for people to go and look for updated documents and to sign off, I do think that it works well for that. But from the user standpoint and the amount of people that don't go in and sign off or use it to that ability, it seems to not be working. So any and all feedback is welcome. There are a few glitches, but we are moving forward with this and hoping in the next couple of months to get something better in place. And if you guys have thoughts now, that's great. If you want to email me or call with suggestions, that's definitely welcome too. So anything, Jamie, that you want to add?
I think, thank you, Kelly, and nicely said. I think, at the end of the day, I want to try and lessen the process for everybody and make it more efficient. So what Acela will do is allow us to use workflows, especially internally. Externally might be a little more difficult. And those are some of the things that we want to get some feedback on. But using the system to manage notifications, allowing to have a checklist of sorts for the event organizers to go in and view where they're at, for you to leave comments and approvals, those types of things. So really to create a lot of efficiencies to help with our communication, to help Kelly so she's not managing emails from all of you and every single piece of the event and all of those contacts as well, because right now that is kind of how we're managing things often is via emails. And so just really looking for those efficiencies and processes and want to pick your brains as partners to see what works well, like Kelly said, what doesn't. And if you use something else, if there's another product that you would recommend or process, and then we'll come back and check in with you along the way, provide demos, get additional feedback on some of the things that we've designed, but wanted to really start that discussion early.
No need to go around the room. Anyone who has an opinion can just type up.
Kelly, I just have a question. Is there a place, and I'm not as familiar with that software as maybe I should be, but I am getting the hang of it. Is there a place though within there where I can go look at past action reports and past events? Because like with this potato drop one, I am usually out of town. I've never been to it. I didn't know the past problems, which I pretty quickly picked up on, but I wasn't sure exactly. Yeah, it would have been nice to know, I guess, that.
Yeah, that is a good question. I'm not sure if the IQM2 system, I know that you can change your date, but I think it only goes either past 6 months or past 12 months. So unless there's anything internally that each department has, and maybe something like that, if there was an after action and you're new in your position, we could just loop you in and say, hey, this is what was documented last time. Because we did have a few things from DBA, but that's definitely a good question and something that we can take note of in the future, just so everybody can refer back to the previous year. And of course, this year's 2 years prior, so a little more difficult, but yes, thank you for that.
All right, why don't we, Kelly maybe can send around just kind of a quick email with a few questions for folks to answer. And as we look into migrating over to a different software platform, maybe that's probably the best way to gather any information. We'll send out some specific questions to solicit feedback from y'all. And with that, I think we will adjourn for today.
Maria?
Yes, John.
This morning, I received a special event request for what apparently was previously known as the Onward Shea Marathon. They are now calling it the Boise Marathon. And it takes place in 11 days. This is the first I've heard of it. Really and truly, Maria, really and truly. The event, as it appears, is 99% on the green belt. And I've discussed this with Summer here earlier this morning, but is this going to be approved by the city of Boise since it takes place on the green belt?
I think we're going to have to look into that a bit more and have a conversation. I don't know that I can speak to that right at this moment. It's a little on the spot. So let me round up some information about that and give you a call in just a bit, John.
Maria.
Okay, obviously go ahead.
Sorry, that is one that Summer did email you about, that it begins and ends in Garden City.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Thank you for reminding me about that. That was like a really good senior moment on my part.
That was so last week.
Yes, we are.
You are going to approve it?
Yes.
Okay. I've got to get an exception of policy because they're only 37 days late, but who's counting? But I think I can probably make that happen from our side. So, boy, you guys do keep it interesting. This was a very fun meeting today.
We do what we can, John. We do what we can. All right. Thanks, everyone. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.